Hello, welcome to my channel. So now I'm sitting outside on my balcony, and this is my view from my living room. So okay, let's talk a bit about how I end up in this apartment. Okay, so first thing first, I arrived in Calgary, I think second week of August, around 13 August. And I rented a Airbnb at the city center. I will tell you a bit more about my first impression when I landed in Calgary and my experience staying in downtown. So, in short, I rented Airbnb for 2 weeks, and I started to look for an apartment, and it's very, very hard to get an apartment. So what I do was I looked through the apartments advertisements, especially using rent cafe or rented.com from all the website. So I registered an account in all those websites, and then whenever I saw or whenever I thinks that it is a good apartment, I try to contact agents, submit an applications to view. So here, the first thing is you have to submit an applications to view the apartment or make an appointment with agents. And then sometimes, let's say if you send 10 applications or 20 applications, not every applications reply back to me. So maybe 1-2 out of 10 reply to me saying that I can view, or sometimes they will reply, but most of the time the apartment is not available or was already rented out. So every day I have to look for an apartment, submit an applications, and then if I was lucky, then I will be able to view an apartment. So I did view a few apartments. Then after you view the apartment, right, then you have to submit another applications to get selected. So here, how you get or how you find an apartment is that you have to submit an applications like you look for a job. So after you view, actually whenever I went to view an apartment, there's always a few people line up. So everyone's got maybe half an hour to view an apartment. And there's a lot of people, one after another. So the supply is low and the demand is very high. So after you view an apartment, if you like it, then you have to submit an application and fill in the forms and everything, and you wait for you wait for a good news. But most of the time, based on my experience as an international student, it's really hard to get an apartment because we don't have a credit score. And then because international student, most of the landlord, they worried that we may not be able to pay rent on time, or that sorts of things. So I submitted countless applications, but I do not get good news from most of the apartments that I viewed. So the first thing is that I rented Airbnb for the first 2 weeks. So I couldn't get an apartment. So I have to move out from the first Airbnb, and I have to rent another Airbnb, stay within the city center. So in that 2 weeks, I think the last 2 weeks of August, I was desperate because I need to move in to my new apartment by 1st of September, because my university started on 1st of September and I still couldn't find an apartment. So I was in a desperate situation. Every day I was, desperately looking for an apartment, submit applications. I think every day I send in applications to view at least 20 apartments. So, but I didn't look for a basement apartment because I really have, no idea, or I would say I'm not confident to stay in a basement apartment because, to be honest, I don't have any friends or families in Canada. I just came here alone, so I have no one. So all the knowledges that I have about Calgary or Canada is, from YouTube or from online blogs, etc. So what I know about the basement is that during the winter time it's cold. So to be honest, I cannot stand cold. So I'm very scared to stay in basement apartment. At least the very first few years, or maybe first year, I don't want to stay in a basement apartment. Maybe in future I will give it a try after I become a bit more familiar with the weather. So I didn't look for a basement apartment and also share accommodations because I'm new here and I'm not familiar with the weather. How is it? So I'm also a bit worried to share with others. So all the time I was looking for a 1-bedroom apartment. So the last 2 weeks of August, I was in my second Airbnb. I was really desperate. And then I think 1 or 2 out of 10, 20 applications, I'm able to view 2 apartments. The apartments that I'm currently staying and another apartment. The other apartment is okay. I mean, it is within my budget, but it's far. It's extremely far. And then there's no bus available to that apartment. You have to walk at least 50 minutes to the nearest C train. So I really thought that, summer is okay, even fall is fine, but how about winter? I have to walk like 15-20 minutes in winter to the nearest C train. So like I said, I'm very new to Calgary. I don't want to suffer within the first year. So I didn't submit my applications after I viewed the apartment. Then the apartment that I'm currently staying here. So after I viewed, I really like it. It's close to C train, and also it is not very far from the city area. I will talk more about city areas, but it's close to C train, and it is a very quiet resident area. So I really like it, but it is way over my budget. But I think when I view this apartment is, I think, around the third week of August. So I really need an apartment, because if I couldn't get an apartment, if I couldn't able to move in on 1st of September, then I need to rent another Airbnb for a month, because when it's closer to the end of August and all the other apartment advertisements, the move-in date become 1st of October. So I'm in a desperate. Let's say if I have to get another Airbnb for a month, it will cost me a lot. So I know this apartment is over my budget, but I have to get it. So I submitted applications, and and I finally got an apartment. So how much is it? So this apartment, I show you, I show my apartment layout, everything's in my other videos. So this apartment cost me 1,500. It is way over my budget. So my budget was around 1,002, at most 1,003. But if you really wanted to get a very decent one bedroom apartment in Calgary, you need to expect around 1,005. So I have no choice. I really need to accept this offer with 1,005, and that is how I end up in this apartment. And this is a 4-story walk-up apartment, and here a lot of buildings are 3 stories or 4-story buildings, and it is a walk-up. There's no lift, so that is also I really suffered when I moved into this apartment, because I have around 2 big luggages, around I think 25 to 30 kgs, 2 big luggages, and I also have my hang area, because I have a lot of stuff. I was in Canada for almost 3 weeks to 4 weeks, so I started to have a few stuff with me. So I think I have 3 large luggage, and each weighed around 25 to 30 kgs, and I have no ones. On my very first day that I moved in, I have to carry that 3 big luggages, super heavy, from ground level to my 4th story. It's really heavy, and I was so tired that I was really upset, and I don't know how to describe it. The first day that I moved in is really a hell for me. Imagine I have to carry 25 to 30 kgs, 3 big luggages from ground floor to level 4. How many rounds? Going up and down 3 times. It's really a bad experience moving in. The best is if you have friends or families help you move, that would be the best. But unfortunately, I have no one. No friends and no families, so I have to do it myself. So yeah, I successfully moved in, and the very first day that I moved in, I don't have any furniture. I have no bed. So before I got my bed and mattress, I had to sleep on the floor for a week. So the next day I went to buy I think a floor mat, a blanket, and also a duvet, so that I can sleep at least not directly on the floor. So I slept on the floor for the first week before my furniture came in. Yeah, so looking for an apartment is extremely hard, and as an international student, based on my experience, it's even harder to get an apartment. So when you submit an application after you viewed, you really need to submit your, of course, all the student permit, and what else? Your bank statement is very important. Your bank statement, because we don't have a credit score, so the only thing that we can submit to the landlord is our bank statement. So of course, bank statement, you need to have enough amount. So that's why it's a bit hard. Not a bit, for me it's extremely hard to get an apartment. in Calgary. It is like looking for a job. Even if you look for a job, probably much more easier than looking for an apartment. But I also believe that if you look for a basement apartment, it would be much easier to get. But like I said, there's a lot of bad things about staying in basement, so I will give it a try in future. But now I'm end up in this 1-bedroom apartment. It is a very nice apartment. I'm not complaining, but it's a bit over my budget, and I really have to get this apartment. So yeah, that's I got my apartment, and that's my struggle. I can share a bit more about staying in the city center. I really have good and bad impressions about staying in city center. Yeah, I'll make another videos and share with you more. So this is my experience, and see you soon. Bye bye.